Kairate Piloi, it's Octo, and welcome to the top 10 esoteric ancient Greek etymologies. Number 10, octopods. So this is from the Greek word octopus, literally meaning 8-footed. So the proper ancient Greek plural is octopodes, and in English it's octopods. So the reason why this word contracts to octopus has to do with contractions. So originally, this word should be octopods, with a delta sigma at the end. However, in ancient Greek, it doesn't really like having a bunch of consonants together. You need to have vowel sounds in there somewhere. So in turn, it goes from octopods to octopus. Octopi is a mistake, since pus isn't the Latin US ending. It's actually the third declension Greek. Number 9, Christopher. So it's from the Greek Christoporos, and it's my name actually. So Christoporos means the Christ bearer in the classic meaning, but if you shift the accent from the omicron on Christa to the omicron on poros, it changes to the person born by Christ. And this tiny change in accent is a huge change in meaning, going from active to passive. To show that this accent matters even further, poros, with the accent on the first omicron, means the tribute or tax, while poros, with it on the second omicron, means bearing or carrying. But don't worry, when it's combined with Christa, it's always going to be the same. Number 8, philology, or philologos. So it comes from philos and logos. So philos means love, and logos means word or reason. But it's really like story. So philology is the love of stories. It's kind of like a good news article, a good book, or a good TV show. Not so much the word itself, but the story behind it. Philology used to be the king of the humanities with textual study, language study, and like psychology, history as well. However, it's kind of fallen to the wayside. They still do it at colleges, and you definitely should take some courses in it because it will help your critical thinking skills. Number 7, gymnasium or gymnaseon. So from gymnos, meaning naked. These are training schools where ancient Greeks exercised unclothed, and they later became centers for learning in antiquity. When you're an athlete in Greek, you always compete naked, and that is why they were naked at the school. Number 6, tragedy, from tragoidia, meaning goat song. And it's possibly linked to goat sacrifices or prizes of the goats, and it's the foundation of Greek theater. So back when people would write ancient Greek tragedies, you could bring it to the assembly, and if you wrote the best tragedy, you would receive a goat as your prize to eat or to take home to your farm. Pretty good prize, especially when you don't have that many goats. Number 5, xenophobia, from xenos, meaning stranger, and phobos, meaning fear. So it literally means the fear of the stranger, and it's kind of hard to imagine how this word might be relevant today, in this day and age. Back in the ancient world, you had no passports, and you were really at the mercy of whoever you were traveling with whenever you traveled. So they had a ritualized hospitality that they would do for everyone when they came to visit. That is where Zeni is from. Number 4, hippopotamus. So this is from hippos, meaning horse, and potamos, meaning river. So literally, the river horse. And it's an adorable name for an absolutely terrifying creature. Do not mess with this beast, they are mean. Number 3, schizophrenia. From schizo, to split, and prain, meaning mind. This was a term coined in the 20th century as the split mind. It's often misunderstood as like split personalities, but it really refers to a fragmentation of thought and perception. It's a lot more common for your material conditions to be separated from your perceptions as opposed to having multiple personalities. And really, the more we see multiple personality disorder, the more it seems to be rare and not really applicable. So the name is something of a misnomer, and the reality is much more complex than the etymology suggests. Number 2, lobotomy. So this is from lobos, or lobe of the brain, and tame, meaning to cut or an incision. Since they used to chop people open much more frequently and go to war a lot more frequently, people knew what the lobe was. They always saw them. So it's literally a cutting of the lobe of the brain or a chunk of the brain. So it was introduced in the 20th century as a psychiatric procedure, but it was really poorly understood and often misapplied. And this name sounds neat and clinical, but in practice, it was just a crude and damaging operation. A grim reminder that sharp-sounding etymology doesn't really guarantee scientific accuracy, you know? Before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Rhododactylos eos, rosy-fingered dawn. This is Homer's famous epithet for the goddess of the sunrise, whose pink light is poetically imagined as fingers stretching across the sky. Hemochromatosis, from haima, blood, and chroma, meaning color. So this refers to an iron overload, and literally your blood has too much coloring. For my last honorable mention, I have palotropos odysseus. So this literally means of many terms or multifaceted, but in practice, the epithet often carries a sly edge and is closer to two-faced than simply versatile. And for number 1, lapad date maka silaka galeo cranio lepsano drimhipa, trimata silpia, carabamelita, kata ke kumena, kiklepsikasib pho fata perister alec trionopta, kephalea, kinklapelea ligaiois, siraya, baphe, tragona pterigon. Or, in ancient Greek, lapa, datemekase, elaka galea cranio lepsano drimupa, trimata silpio, carabameleta, kata ecumena, kiklepikos upapat aperis sterlectruanopt a kepalion, kinkla pelea, lagoi a siraya, bape tragana pterugon. So I had to say that about 800 times, and that's Aristophanes' record-breaking word, or the longest word in ancient Greek, or recorded ancient Greek. It's from the play Ecclesiastes, or The Assemblywomen, and it's a comic dish of stews, fish, sauces, and everything imaginable. It's often cited as the longest word in ancient Greek, and sometimes rendered in English as what I said earlier. So from octopods to the ineffable names for food, ancient Greek has some amazing etymologies. Greek words are never just words, they're whole worlds of history, culture, and sly double meanings. And if you like this whirlwind tour, stick around because in the next episode, we're going to be diving into Assemblywomen by Aristophanes. This is a comedy where language, politics, and satire collide in ways that are just as outrageous as the record-breaking food word. So thank you so much for watching. It's Octo, and Kaira te piloi.